Szandra is a digital business architect in the Eon IT department. She has over 5 years of experience in digital projects, and she acts as a vital liaison between business, IT, and customers. Currently, Szandra is pursuing a part-time MBA at ESMT Berlin, and she's deeply passionate about sustainability and female empowerment. Oliana is part of the management department at the Faculty of Business, Alexander Moisiu in Albania. She teaches business ethics, business communication, and operations management. Oliana obtained her PhD in management in 2020 from the Estonian Business School in Tallinn, and her research includes youth entrepreneurship, female entrepreneurship, and women business empowerment. Ladies, thank you so much for being here with us in Prague. So, the first question that comes to mind when we talk about Gen Z is, what exactly is the greatest challenge that you are facing right now in the workplace and in leadership?
Hello, everyone. Just turn it off. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us here. And I'm happy to talk about it because I mentor some Gen Z people at my workplace, and I think the greatest challenge is actually getting a job after their internship, because they are very talented, they would like to do so much at work, but we look for senior people, and I don't know why, and I don't know if it's everywhere in the world, but I can talk about the Hungarian scene, and I'm so sad to see that 3 people are actually finishing their studies this year at my department, and they cannot find a job within the department, and we have trained them for 3 years. They know everything about the company, about the project, and we don't give them opportunities. So I think the greatest challenge is finding a job after the internship where they are thriving.
Thank you so much, Oliana. What is your experience?
Hello, everyone. So I have been working with Gen Z for almost, 12 years of teaching, but now let's say with Gen Z, 10 years working with them, mentoring them, teaching to them. I guess that the main challenges that they face is to know how to navigate in the workplace right now. Because I feel that they are very pragmatic, very agile. Okay, sometimes we tell or we like to put them this metaphor that they are the crystal generation, very sensitive, not as strong as Gen X or baby boomers especially, very resilient, you know. But they are more pragmatic, I could say, but we still don't teach them how to navigate in the workplace and in the job market. Don't forget that the job market and the workplace now, it's a bit different than it used to be before, because we have one generation, which are the baby boomers, which are expected to stay a bit longer together with Gen X, and for the first time in history, we have 4 generations working in the same office. So many times they feel not lost, but they feel a bit confused on how should I go and navigate to this job market. Am I prepared? And how I will manage to switch in between jobs, because this generation is the generation that is switching more jobs, more than before. Not just because they like change and because we say that they lack of commitment, but it's because that they don't have this north, this guide that shows them where to go and how to go.
Who does? We are under 30. I mean, if we're looking at our own experience, who among you has Gen Z people in your teams? Hands up, let's see the experience. All right, well, if you don't have, you can look forward to welcoming them because they're looking for brilliant jobs. Now, one of the question is access to jobs, agility in navigating a good start of the career. But another question that comes in data is the Gen Z's relative reluctance to embrace leadership roles. So I'm going to stay with you, Oliana, and then I will come to you. What's going on? Like, why do they avoid applying for managerial positions?
Yes, first it is how they see leadership as well. This is an unbossing generation. They don't like to take orders, in the good sense of the word. I'm not blaming them, but they don't like, even they hate, I would say, I'm being a bit aggressive with this word. I don't like the word hate, but they don't like this bossy style, micromanagement especially. It's the generation that tends to avoid it very much. And it is not only the leadership positions the problem, it is also working in teams. You know that this generation prefers to work remotely and to be independent because they feel that human relationships are too complicated to navigate. In the sense that sometimes they see conflicts at the workplace, problems of communication, and they say, okay, it's better, I would work by myself, I would stay at home. Then, okay, we say that they don't like leadership positions because they don't have commitment, they don't want to take responsibility, but who wanted to take responsibility when we were 20? I remember when I was a bit in my 80s, I started to study, and someone told me, with age, it will come a beautiful thing, which is freedom. But the price that you have to pay, it's responsibility. So it's a generation that can learn to be leaders, but they will be leaders in a different way. They will be, like we call in management studies, transformative leaders in their organization. So equipped with different skills than previous generations. So for me, it's not an issue of commitment. They deal with commitment in a different way, I guess.
What's your experience, Szandra?
I agree that they are going to be different kind of leaders, but I see it a bit differently than you, because I came from corporate, so maybe the motivation is different. And what I see that they want to be leaders right after they are done at the university. And, well, they are loved at. And after they are loved at the age of 21, 22, they don't dare to apply when they are there, and they could be a team lead, or they could be some smaller leaders. But what you said about the motivation and about avoiding conflicts, I really think that's true. And they are trying to do their own little things, and they are trying to create some atmosphere or some small projects where they can practice their leaderships. But then again, because they got laughed at 2 years ago, 3 years ago, then they are not brave enough now, what we were talking about previously this morning, that we have to be brave. So I think that's why the leadership motivation is not there all the time.
Szandra, I will stay with you for a moment and ask you, how can companies and hiring managers prepare for, the interviews with Gen Z representatives who come with this, high leadership expectations, but at the same time their experience is not there yet?
I think mentoring is super important, because if they can see a career path in front of them and they know what they need to be better in, that's going to help a lot. And if that mentor is sticking with them for 1 or 2 years, then they will see that they are actually lacking those skills, what is there or what should be there as a leader. And they will understand that, yes, maybe my motivation was too high, and then they are going to be better leaders in the long run. So yes, I think mentoring is the key.
Oliana, how do you perceive things?
Yeah, okay, I can speak from the point of view of higher education institutions, or how we can be better connected with companies and with the corporate world, because the main issue and the main gap everywhere is this bridge that we are missing to build, or we are building it in a wrong way maybe, how to bridge education system with business. And especially in countries that are like my country, for example, that still there is a big mismatch between skills and the job market. So it is very important to have not only people prepared from higher education institutions, but as Szandra said, to be like peer mentoring with companies as well, in order to build capacities for real skills that the job market needs.
Let's make it as practical as we can for our colleagues in the room, both who lead Gen Z and those who prepare to lead Gen Z. Do you have 3 pieces of advice on how to attract them, how to hire them, and how to retain them and keep them engaged?
Okay. It is easy to attract them because I guess that all of them, they look for a job. But the problem is how to retain them, because it is normal that before you're 30 you will change some jobs. I guess I'm the only one of the few people in the room that I stayed in the same job since I was 24 years old. So because I'm in academia, of course. So what I would say is that as they are very agile, they love, as Szandra said, to be in a setting where they can have some kind of project, some kind of dynamic job, even if the task is a bit monotone. And of course, what it is important is to put them into teams. I mean, to put them to work in diverse teams. Even if it is challenging in the beginning, later stages, even research shows that more diverse teams between different ages, they are actually more productive. So what businesses should do is to pay attention to these very beautiful soft skills that we have. One, which is emotional intelligence, it's okay, but social intelligence, which is even more important. How to, let's say, create efficient teams in work, and how to have this multi-generational workplace.
Before I come to you, Szandra, I want to stick with you, Oliana, for a moment. So where do you notice that Gen Z thrives most? In a remote-first environment, in a hybrid environment, or in an in-person, fully in-person environment?
I guess they love a bit hybrid. They love this remote element because they are born digital. So you cannot take that part from them. But I guess that even in the face-to-face environment, they would be very comfortable, but if they have the right orientation before they start the job. Because what it happens actually, when you are Gen Z, or maybe beta now, because beta, they are becoming ready for the job market as well, as we became a bit older, but wiser. It is important to have some kind of orientation and setting in the job, and try to explain a bit the things, even if we don't have time, I know. Time is very precious, but if we have what in France they have this very beautiful word to accompagner, like to be like a companion in the process of integration at the workplace.
So what is your observation, Szandra, and what is your advice for companies willing to hire and retain Gen Z?
I think the first step, as I said, to create job adverts, which is a junior position, or they can see that they can do it with some experience from internships or some university projects, because then they're going to dare to apply and they will get the job most probably easily. And for retaining them, I agree with Oliana. I think they like the hybrid positions more. We are a team of like 35 people, and I think 10 are Gen Z, and they are actively in the office. They discuss which days they are in together, they have lunch together, and they really thrive in that environment. But then they also need the hybrid part of the home office, because if they need to go to the doctor's appointment, or to, I don't know, they have regular sports at 4 o'clock on Fridays, then they will stay at home. So I think this flexibility is very important, and highlighting that the job can give it, or you are not going to have meetings at 4, you can do your tasks after that in the evening if you need to do that. And one last thing is, I think, is listening to them, because Gen Z is different as well. And if you listen to those people who are at your department, you are going to get to know them better, and then you can get a strategy how well you can retain them.
If you had unlimited power, and I'll go with you, Szandra, first. If you had unlimited power to make this world better for Gen Z, what would you do?
I think I would create an algorithm or something like that for social media, where it would be written that it's fake content, it's used with AI, and it's prettier than real life, because I think Gen Z is struggling to know what is real and what is beautiful, and they have some mental health issues or challenges to actually be there and get there, because they think they need to be in front of the peers, and they think the peers are in front of them because of social media.
Thank you so much for this beautiful idea. How about your unlimited power?
Yes, so I will go, it has to do with what Szandra said. This social media created a world of, you know, exposing too much. But at the other side, when I do an exercise with my student to ask, what is your weak point, or what do you see? They have almost, maybe it is age, I don't know, or the stage of life, they say, lack of security, lack of self-confidence, but everyone. So what I would like is to make them not completely fearless, because to have emotions is very normal, but to be fearless for the steps that they will take in life, and to kind of preserve the equilibrium from their wants and their needs, because this is very important.
Thank you so much. I believe we have room for one question from the public, so please raise your hand and let's hear you and your interest. Yes, can...
I would like to ask a question from
Microphone.
Szandra. What do you think? Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is much better. So, Szandra, what do you think the greatest challenge ahead of you becoming a leader is? So, what is the greatest hurdle that you and your generation feel that's preventing you from becoming a leader?
Well, that's a good question, because for me it's my age. I have the skills and I have everything written on my CV, but HR doesn't let me to be a leader because I haven't been there long enough. So it is that. I have a small story that there was a leadership program at my work, and my voice interview, which was anonymous, that was the best. And afterwards, I went to the interview, and then they saw me in person, and they said that I'm too young for this program, and I should aspire leadership in 10 years' time. So it is my age.
Thank you, Oliana.
Yes, okay, I come from academia, which is a different world, and a lot of politics inside this kind of organizations and a lot of ego. So what prevents me from being a leader, we had a lot of women leaders in universities in Albania. Currently, no, it's not possible. And what I sadly hear is that even if deep inside they know that women, they were doing much better, a different rector, dean, and stuff like that, they don't want to admit it. And they say that now that is a man, I don't know, rector, not only at my university, even at other universities, things are going better. Still, in countries like mine, where culture is very high context, still we have a kind of prejudice for women being leaders, especially in academia. And there is a lot of gender stereotype and gender bias in academia. Unfortunately, even if figures are better, in Albania, even in STEAM, figures are better for women and girls, even better that in many of the countries of Eastern Europe, they are better compared to Western Europe. But what happens in our countries is that in STEAM, in academia, we are until PhD, we are doing better than men. Then reaching a leadership position, it's always still a man's world.
Thank you so very much. So with the last seconds that we have, if I can summarize our conversation to attract more colleagues, Gen Z, to engage them and to retain them, we need to create safe spaces for dialogue. We need to develop our own self-awareness because we are projecting our own age bias on them, and this is limiting both their entrance position and their leadership positions, and we need to create more dialogue and listen to them and their stories. Thank you so much for being with us and for the wisdom you shared.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us.